Dandy's World is a co-op mascot horror game on Roblox. Fix machines, run from monsters, get to the elevator, buy from the flower man, rinse, repeat, until you die. It's like Dead by Daylight, but with slightly less toxicity. But if you're clicking this video, I'm assuming you know that already, so let's just cut straight to the point. In Dandy's World, there are a lot of different enemies, or twisteds, that you'll encounter. This is the part where I give an in-depth description of each of them, right? Well, no. Instead of going over each character one by one, I'll put them into 4 general categories: chasers, neutrals, snipers, and stompers. Chasers, well, they chase. They're dead silent, and will run for you if they see you, losing interest quickly if you break line of sight. They're the basic goons of this game. You'll see them on pretty much every single floor. While some chasers are faster than others, and some chasers have special abilities, if they're silent and they run after the player, they're still chasers. Chasers consist of Twisted Boxtan, Poppy, Tisha, Tegan, Brightnay, Shrimpo, Toodlees, Flutter, Cosmo, and Finn. Neutrals are characters who cannot hurt you until you trigger them, remaining idle until a player activates them. There are 2 types of neutrals: stationary and mobile. Stationary neutrals sit in one spot, and are triggered either by picking up a trap capsule, or by running in their no-running radius. You'll fall for them one time, and never again. There's only 2 of them, so it's fairly easy to remember how they work. On the other hand, mobile neutrals consist of, well, just Glisten for now. He's a bit of a strange case when it comes to the twisteds in this game. Instead of immediately trying to kill the player, Twisted Glisten starts off completely harmless. He will wander around aimlessly, unable to hurt anyone, even if you touch him, and he's kept in this friendly state by simply standing next to him every now and then. But if you ignore him for too long, or all of the machines on the floor are completed, Glisten will suddenly enter rage mode. In this enraged state, he will zip around the map at Mach 10, pummeling any players who cross his path with his absurdly high movement speed. So for your sake, try your best to keep him calm, or else. Neutrals consist of Twisted Razzle and Dazzle, Twisted Roger, and Twisted Glisten as of now. Snipers are basically just chasers, but with an extra ability, a long-ranged attack. They will fire off this long-ranged attack, whether it be a tail whip that hits you from afar, or a grab that pulls you towards them, chasing you around like normal afterwards. Their attack on a 12-second cooldown. They are silent as well, making them extra dangerous in blackouts, so be sure to watch your back. However, despite all of their scary attributes, their attack is easily nullified by simply hiding behind any form of wall before their animation finishes. These guys are total pushovers if you know how to deal with them, really only posing a major threat to newer players. So be cautious of them, but not afraid. Snipers consist of Twisted Goob and Twisted Scraps only. Stompers are the strongest and most dangerous version of chasers. They make an audible stomping sound wherever they go, giving away their positions if you're close enough to them. This is for good reason, however, as their inability to remain hidden audibly balances out their extreme movement speed and long-range vision. These twisteds are by far the most deadly, more than capable of wiping out your entire team in one go with their extra abilities, laying traps to hit anyone who crosses, or slowing the movement speed of anyone they see. My advice to stay alive? Just stay away from them. You can hear them at all times, you know exactly where to go to not be near them, so take advantage of this, and stay out of their path. Stompers consist of Twisted Astro, Dandy, Pebble, Shelly, Sprout, and V. Despite all of the differences between these twisted characters, functionally, they're all the same. I'm not a programmer for the game, but I am a programmer, and I think I've mapped out some basic fundamentals of how the AI in this game functions, just from my personal experience with it. The Twisteds appear to use node-based movement, a form of movement where they travel from one point, or node, to another, to get around. They always stop at the same points every single time without fail, no matter which Twisted is moving. This is heavily exploitable. But we'll talk about that later. For now, let's talk about the AI. The AI in this game seems to work in 5 stages: wait, wander, chase, pursue, and investigate. In the wait stage, the character will stop, stand still, and do nothing for a set amount of time, before wandering somewhere else. There's not really much else to say, it's pretty self-explanatory. Some Twisteds wait longer than others, notably Twisted Tisha waits for an extended duration of time to clean with her feather duster, and Twisted Flutter does not wait at all, but otherwise, this stage isn't very intriguing. In the wander stage, the character will walk to a random pathfinding point on the map. This is the most common stage seen constantly around the game. You'll see Twisteds wandering around the map essentially at all times. Keep in mind that Twisteds don't actually know where the player is during the wander state, leaving you safe to go AFK whenever you want. Well, as long as you aren't spotted. The chase stage is when a Twisted drops all of their current activities and runs after the nearest player, right? Well, not exactly. The chase stage is a little more complex than that. Twisteds will chase after the player currently in their line of sight with the lowest stealth value. This means that even if multiple players are in a Twisted's line of sight during a chase, only the player with the lowest stealth of the group is in any danger, leaving the rest to be completely ignored. That is, unless the player currently being chased escapes the Twisted's line of sight, or in that case, the Twisted will immediately switch their attention to the player with the next lowest stealth value. The pursue stage is an extension to the chase stage. This occurs when a player breaks line of sight with a Twisted, but the Twisted continues to chase them. This is due to the Twisted's attention span, a hidden timer that determines how long a Twisted will continue to chase you after breaking line of sight with them. If a Twisted fails to catch up to a player before their attention span runs out, they immediately go back to wandering. Some Twisteds have longer attention spans than others, notably Stompers have considerably longer attention spans than every other type of Twisted, but most of them lose interest in about 3 seconds.
What are you doing? You're not the thinker.
Lastly, the investigate stage. It's a bit of a special case, triggered only via machines.
Think fast, Chuckle Nuts!
When a player fails a skill check on a machine, a loud sound will play, alerting all nearby Twisteds and putting them into the investigation stage.
Oh, crap.
In this stage, as long as a Twisted is not currently chasing or pursuing someone, they will immediately run directly to the machine where the player failed a skill check. After reaching this machine, they will turn away, returning to their wander stage and picking a random point on the map to travel to. There are special attributes for Twisted Astro, Twisted V, and Twisted Dandy. However, as Astro will remove 50% of a failed machine's progress upon reaching it, V can hear a failed skill check from anywhere on the map, and Dandy will investigate a machine when it is completed as well. If you play this game, you are going to get chased many times. But how do you get out of it without dying? I've seen too many new players fall prey to Twisted Box 10 or Twisted Shrimpo on floor 2. But that's merely because they don't understand the main concept of the game. That being, the line of sight.
Yo, who the
For those who don't know, line of sight is basically just where a Twisted can see. Twisteds can see via a large cone of vision directly in front of them. Their vision is blocked by walls and obstacles, but if they see a player, they'll initiate a chase.
Wait.
Although, this image I've depicted here isn't quite accurate. Sometimes, a Twisted will chase you if you walk behind them or next to them. This is because the Twisteds can detect all around them, like this. So, even if a Twisted isn't looking at you, don't get too close to them, or they'll spot you. Surprisingly, a Twisted's detection radius isn't affected by the stealth of the character you're playing as, at all. However, what is affected by stealth is how close you have to be to a Twisted while in their line of sight before they actually start chasing you. Now this knowledge is cool and all, but what does it have to do with escaping chases? Well, to escape a chase, all you have to do is break line of sight. Yep, it's really just that simple. When I said that functionally all the Twisteds are the same, I meant it. Whether it be a slower moving Twisted like Finn, a long-range Twisted like Scraps, or an absolute monster like Twisted Pebble, breaking line of sight solves, well, really every single problem you might run into.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the
Hiding behind an obstacle and waiting out the Twisted's attention span timer is usually the easiest way to do this, as it's pretty fast, and shouldn't use that much stamina. However, you can also break line of sight by looping a Twisted around an obstacle, though this takes a little more effort. But what if you can't break line of sight? You're running low on stamina, and that Twisted is gaining on you, fast. Well, there's some other methods for making a Twisted lose chase. Your teammates might not approve of them though. See these little clueless goobers here? These guys are your best bet for getting Twisteds off your back. After all, if the Twisteds are busy chasing someone else, they aren't chasing you. But when you're the one being chased, a teammate can help you out in numerous ways, such as taking the Twisted's attention away from you by getting close, using an air horn, using Pebble's ability,
You say to me, you little
or simply just existing nearby with a lower stealth than you.
Whoa, hey.
Of course, they can always just ignore you and walk away, but a simple help me, from your end, usually gets the point across pretty well. If you're in a vulnerable state, low on health, low on stamina, with no items in your inventory, then stay close to your team. After all, nobody can help you if you're across the map all by yourself. Just don't lead Twisteds to your teammates on purpose. Unless you want to get banned. Items are the primary way to escape from a chase when you're almost out of stamina. They typically grant a small or large boost to your movement abilities, and make it easier for you to escape. I'm not going to give you a long description of every item in the game, just check the wiki if you're interested in that. Instead, I'll just give you some general item advice. Items should be preserved in your inventory until you need them, which is typically when you're being chased. So don't go around drinking sodas when you're not in any danger. Yeah, I'm talking to you, put that down. I personally consider stamina refilling items as the most important items in the game, since they extend the amount of time you can sprint for. So be sure to stock up on sodas, bottles of pop, protein bars, chocolate bars, and even gumballs, and have one of them in your inventory at all times. Speed items are decent as well, but their usage is situational. They're good for slower characters who struggle to escape from chases normally, but fast characters usually don't need them. So if you're playing as a fast character, just leave these on the ground. Unless you're already at low stamina, someone else probably needs it more than you do. Healing items are also very important, as they're the only thing that can restore a missing heart. Well, for everyone except Tegan, I guess. They should be spread evenly throughout your team for the fairest usage. Evenly. If you stumble across a healing item and you're at full health, and you know that one of your teammates is hurt, instead of picking it up like a greedy little gremlin, let them know, so they can use it and stay alive longer. There are special exceptions for Cosmo and Sprout though, since these two characters can heal their teammates.
Excuse me, what the actual
So prioritize giving them healing items first, since they can't heal you and the rest of your team if they're dead. Other items that I haven't listed have their own niche uses that I don't feel the need to go over, since their usage should be pretty obvious. Use stealth candies to increase your stealth. Use smoke bombs to get Twisteds to stop chasing you for a few seconds. So forth and so on. You get the idea, right? Just always be sure to pick up something useful, since if you run out of stamina with no items in a bad spot, you're just kinda screwed.
baby girl? Daddy's home.
When playing as a character with average or below average movement speed, you'll find yourself running low on stamina fairly often if you manage it poorly.
I'm tired.
The problem is, lost stamina just regenerates too slowly. But the simple solution to this problem is burst sprinting.
Get the f*** out my part!
Instead of holding the sprint button like normal, players sprint in short bursts, lightly tapping the sprint button before letting go. This gives you the speed benefits of sprinting at a much lower stamina cost, since you're actually letting some stamina regenerate mid-chase. This strategy is commonly used by distractors when leading around Twisteds who are slightly faster than them. But every character can do it, even slower ones. So you should do it too. But unfortunately, sprint bursting alone isn't actually going to get you away from a Twisted.
Yo, what's up?
If anything, it'll just keep the Twisteds right behind you, and drain your stamina over time. This is easily manageable for fast characters, since they don't need to sprint as
I'm
often.
running circles around you.
But for slow characters, you're stuck under a very unforgiving time limit. So, instead of using sprint bursting as some kind of infinite stamina exploit,
I am a god. I am the spy.
utilize sprint bursting to reach an obstacle that you can loop a twisted around, and try to end the chase as soon as possible by breaking line of sight. The longer you spend being chased, the more likely it is that another twisted will spot you and extend the chase even further, so try not to drag it out. There's one other method to get it twisted to stop chasing you, and that's to just take a hit.
What if I didn't run? What if I'm not a coward? What if I'm not gonna run away? What if I'm gonna stand right here? What if I'm gonna make my stand?
I know, this tactic might sound absolutely absurd, but just, like, hear me out for a second, okay?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Taking a hit from a twisted will force them to stand still for a bit. Let's call this state munch time.
You thought I was feeling you?
The length of munch time depends on the twisted, but it's usually about 3 seconds, giving you a brief moment of time to break line of sight and make some distance. I tend to avoid using this tactic as much as possible, since, well, it costs one of your hearts. But in a scenario where you're being chased by a fast twisted and you're low on stamina, cutting your losses and intentionally taking one hit when you still have stamina left could save you from taking multiple hits later on, when your stamina completely runs out. Just be careful though, because at the end of a twisted's munch time, the twisted can detect players in their aggro radius through walls, just for a brief moment. So be sure to both make distance, and break line of sight. Doing just one or the other isn't gonna cut it.